So problem 1 states, a simple gear train is composed of 3 gears. Gear A is the driver gear and has 8 teeth. Gear B has 24 teeth. And gear C has 16 teeth. And it told us that gear A is the driver, so my input is over here, which makes C my output and B my idler. So I'm going to take the information that I know and I'm going to fill it into my data table to keep my variables organized. So I'm going to take my input A has 8 teeth, my output C has 16 teeth. My variable does not affect my gear ratio, so my idler doesn't need to be recorded because it doesn't have an effect. So part A asks, what's the output of C? If the output's C, which we know, what's the gear ratio? So my gear ratio for number of teeth formula is gear ratio equals number of the teeth of the output gear divided by number of teeth of the input gear. I'm going to take my output is 16, my input is 8, 16 divided by 8 is 2, therefore my gear ratio is 2 to 1. Part B gives me more information. It says gear A rotates at 60 rotations per minute. How fast? So those two things, rotations per minute and fast, tell me that I'm solving for speed. So speed of gear A is my input, is 60. And I need to find how fast C is rotating. So I'm going to use my gear ratio formula for speed, which is the speed of the input gear divided by the speed of the output gear. Once I've identified my problem, I can plug in the numbers I know. So I know my gear ratio for the system is 2, my speed in is 60, and my speed out is unknown. So when I have these two, I need to get the omega on the top, so I need to take the reciprocal of these. So if I do that, I'm going to have 1 over 2 equals omega out over 60. And then to get omega by itself, I multiply both sides by 60. And if I get 60 times 1/2, I'm left with 30 equals omega out. And I'm going to add that to my table. Part C is asking for my torque, so that's tau. If my torque at gear C, C is my output, is 150, so I'm going to record that. Now I'm going to identify my equation, so I've got gear ratio for torque is torque out over torque in. Now that I've got my equation, I'm going to plug in the variables, so I've got 2 is my gear ratio, my torque out is 150, my torque in is unknown. So I can't have my variable on the bottom, so I've got to flip them, so I'm left with 1/2 equals torque in over 150. Got to get rid of the 150, so I multiply both sides. So if I do 150 times 2, I get 75 equals, and these cancel, torque in. Don't forget to put your units in here. So speed is rotations per minute, and torque is foot-pounds.